Let's get into the papers now and look at the headlines in Nigerian newspapers. I have lawyer and public affairs analyst Tunji Abdulhamid with me in the studio. Nice to have you join me, Tunji.
Nice to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. I also have with me on Skype media consultant and journalist Ifekayode Akimbode. Ifekayode, good morning. Nice to have you join me.
Good morning, Mike. How are you today?
Great. Well, fine. Right. Let's begin with Blueprint newspaper now. I have no time for criminals in southern Kaduna. El-Rufai is saying this, and that's a bold headline you will see there. It says there are idle people looking for money and foreign donations. He is more of a dictator than a Democrat. Sokapu, as the Southern Kaduna People's Union, is saying that. Let the governor name money-seeking leaders. Apostle Suleiman is saying this, and stop killing Muslims to avoid reprisal. Imams tell Christians, and government should bring the killers to book. So it's a back and forth there, but certainly we understand that security agencies are there and bringing the issues there to normal. From the Blueprint, let's go to Daily Times now. Why Diri lost heads to court, and why Diri lost, and he heads for the court, for the appeal court there. Okay, from the Daily Times, let's go to the Leadership newspaper. Drama as Tribunal annuls Bayelsa Governorship poll. And the INEC rejects judgment, says ANDP fielded underage candidate. Diri goes on appeal. Jubilation among APC supporters. And again, APC-PDP clash over conduct of elections. All right, that's the political scene there. Now, News Direct is next, and it's still on Bayelsa, the Bayelsa election annulment. Diri INEC to appeal tribunal's judgment. APC BMO Lord that judgment in there. Okay, from there, let's go to the national economy, which is the last one we're looking at now. Naira leads African currencies, makes highest returns in spot market. Naira leads African currencies and makes highest returns in spot market. Okay, one of the issues I'd like us to talk about is the issue of the fallout from Bayelsa State, Tunji. At least seeing it from the eyes of the law, there are a lot of things that Nigerians will certainly be confused about. Just few days before the appeal court, the tribunal upheld the election of the governor, and then just a few days after, the tribunal annulled the election of the governor again. Now, one would say the cases are different, but I wonder how the law separates all of these issues anyway. Make us understand. Let me start with you, Tunji.
You know, when the election was conducted, we have so many parties participate in the election. APC, PDP, AMP, ADP, so many other parties contested in it. And any party that contests an election, any candidate that contests an election, has the right to go to court to challenge that election. That's why you are seeing so many different cases. So APC have filed their own appeal regarding the judgment at the election. The other parties so the judgment being rolled out are based on each party's application or petition before the court. The one that came up yesterday has to do with the one filed by another members of another party who claimed that his candidates or they were unlawfully disqualified from contesting
or excluded from
the election. So that was the basis of the case before the tribunal in that regard, and that was on the basis upon which the tribunal said, look, the 2-to-1 decision. We have two judgments in favor of the appeal, and we have one against it. That's what we call the sentencing judgment.
Yes.
So the two other judgments affirm the fact that, look, the exclusion of the party from the election was not properly done, because having regard is on the favor, having regard to Section 31 of the Electoral Act, that INEC has no power to disqualify candidate. But I don't want to believe that INEC, if you look at the fact of that case, I'm not sure there was actually an exclusion, because if we say INEC cannot just reject a candidate nominated by a party. Let's assume a party A or brings a 9-year-old candidate will INEC just accept and say we don't have the power to reject? If a party brings a person that has been certified as lunatic and is presented before the INEC as a candidate, will INEC go ahead and say we adopt you?
Right.
In other words, we are saying INEC is just there for purpose of if that is the case, that means INEC has no role to play when it comes to nomination. What they need to do is just to receive nomination, whether it's proper or not. So I think this tribunal, this situation regarding this party, I did not see it as an exclusion.
Okay.
Because they submitted a candidate, the deputy governor, who did not meet the required
requirements.
Yes, 34 instead of 35. And then their attention was drawn to it, and they made an attempt to substitute the candidate, and it was late. So because of that, they were not able to participate. So I don't see that one as an exclusion.
All right. Let me bring Ife Kayode in here. Ife Kayode, I know you've been following this development. If you cast your mind back in the 2019 election, almost the same issue happened in Zamfara State and also in Rivers State, where the APC could not field candidate because they couldn't meet the requirements within the time frame. Now, the issue of INEC not having the power to disqualify a candidate and INEC rejecting the things from a political party, I wonder whether it's the issue of semantics. If INEC rejects that what you brought in did not meet the requirement, or INEC disqualifying. I wonder what the difference is, if you have to enlighten us.
Thank you very much, Mike. You recall that last Tuesday when we were talking, I said emphatically that INEC should be very careful. You recall that we were talking about the 70 registered political parties. Our INEC said that they are not going to go ahead with those names in Edo and Ondo. And I said that we have seen landmark judgments where INEC cannot appropriate powers that they do not have. Yes, INEC is the body that is saddled with responsibility of conducting elections. INEC's legal department should also take a look at some of these complaints pre-election. But for goodness sake, it costs nothing if INEC would go ahead and put that name on the ballot. The party logo, I'm not even saying the candidate as it were, the party logo, because it's a registered political party. Either their candidate met the specified age or not according to the electoral act is not the issue. But that party was supposed to be part of that election, ANDP. But INEC took unilateral decision by exempting that party from that election, and now they have paid dearly for it. If INEC, in his own wisdom, had found out that, okay, the deputy governorship candidate was 34 instead of 35, they had written to the party. By the time the party responded, it was late. They should have left it like that and allowed that party logo to be on the ballot paper. Why would they remove the logo of ANDP? They do not have such power. ANDP is a registered political party. It is left for the electorate to go and cast that vote, and if they had counted the vote, it would not have counted.
Yeah, but if the preliminary requirements and benchmarks, or there are criteria for them to meet and they didn't meet that requirement, shouldn't INEC go ahead to exclude them from the process?
I beg to say that I do not think it is right.
Okay. Speaking,
I'm not a lawyer, I'm a journalist, but for my many years of covering election, we have seen all these kind of mistakes that INEC have made in the past, and it has caused people that were elected several times over and over again. There are legal departments in the INEC, and those are simple things they should have done. Look, it is the problem of that party, not the problem of INEC. The court is the final arbiter in any situations like this. Now, they have put the governor in a serious situation. And I'm afraid the appellate court, in their own wisdom, might also, give their own consent to the ruling of the tribunal. I cannot say, but I'm sure that learning from this, INEC will be very conscious and careful going forward. They cannot arrogate such powers they do not have to themselves. That's my position.
Okay, let me bring Tuji in here. You are a lawyer, so you're going to decipher this. But the issue there is he is saying INEC actually doesn't have the powers and all of that. But in the case of Zamfara and Rivers State before the 2019 election, the case went to the highest level, and the Supreme Court said, of course, INEC was right in whatever they did.
Yeah, yes, I want to also. Well, I agree that INEC should not arrogate power that they don't have to themselves. I want to say that, look, you can only have your name in the ballot paper if you have a valid nominated candidate.
Okay.
As in this case, as far as I'm concerned, they don't have a valid nominated candidate. So if you don't have a candidate, you cannot be in the ballot. In the ballot. That is what happened here, because you are advised that the name you presented is not qualified to be there. Is not meeting the requirement. If they don't meet the requirement, that means you don't have candidates. So as far as I'm concerned, there's no exclusion. It's about the party not bringing in people who are supposed to be validly qualified to contest the election. Okay. So I think, to me, what they have done, and apart from that particular aspect, there are other grounds upon which this case will not pass the test of at the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. Okay. For instance, the issue of whether they appeal within time is there. The issue as to whether or not is either a pre-election matter,
yes,
or
a post-election
it's a pre-election matter.
Yeah.
And the law says it must be done within 14 days. Right. I'm not sure this was done within 14 days. Even if it's not, even the main petition that was done after the election was not done within 21 days. These are issues, and these are basic grounds upon which court has, in the past, dismissed so many petitions.
Cases,
so
exactly,
the governor is still having they still have that chance at the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court to turn it.
So you think that going forward, it seems like the outcome is known already, not necessarily preempting what the court is going to say?
In my own view, as a lawyer,
okay.
In my own view, and look at the facts, the case will not pass the test of the court at the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. Okay. It will stand.
All right.
They do not stand.
If I wonder, on the whole, looking at it, because you have covered so many elections, like you have said, what lessons do we have to learn from all of this? Because the point there is, it is the issue of politics now snowballing into legal issues. What lessons do we have to learn so that issues of politics of election remain within the election, and then it reduces the amount of cases that get into court, and the court has to decide who the governor is and all of that instead of the people who voted?
Well, I think that, like I've said several times, legal system, electoral act needs to be reviewed. Pre-election issues and litigations should be resolved before the inauguration of anybody in government. Okay. These are main distraction to elected public office holders. There is no way Governor Diri will not be distracted. And if he's distracted, governance will suffer and the people will suffer. And then in eventuality, the Supreme Court decides that they should go and start and conduct another election, we have wasted resources and we have wasted time. And those things are not in tandem with the collective aspiration of the mass of the people. So I think the political class should also be mindful that we should not continue to dilly-dally. When in advanced countries, in a Senate climes, once somebody had been elected, the people should rally around and ensure that good governance becomes priority to the people, not seeking for alternative ways of getting power. And I think that is the best way going forward. We should allow democracy to thrive.
Right.
The political class should learn to also do things in moderation and allow whoever has been elected to face business of governance all the time.
Okay, we have to leave you here now. Ifakade Akimbode, thank you so much for your time on the program. Thank you. And Tunji Abdul Hamid, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
We really appreciate you.